A live look at South Haven tonight, where the snow is already falling with much more to come. We'll tell you which areas could get the most over the next couple days.
We're learning more tonight about a shooting just hours ago in Grand Rapids, what police say led up to the shooting, and an update on the search for the suspect.
Just return it. I mean, it's for a nonprofit group, so I mean, that's the thing that really gets me the most.
They're dedicated to saving retired greyhounds, but that didn't stop them from becoming the target of thieves. How you can help a local animal rescue track down their trailer.
So let's just simply say this: no one can get away from a crime.
Some tough talk today for the man in charge of the Attorney General's investigation into the Flint water crisis. We'll tell you what possible charges could come from that investigation.
From the station with the most local news, Fox 17 News starts now with a winter weather alert.
Winter storm warnings and weather advisories all along the lakeshore tonight, with some heavy snow expected through Thursday morning. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Michelle DeSalms.
And I'm Christian Frank. While some places could get more than 6 inches of snow, others just a dusting. So, Joe, who's going to get hit the hardest?
Yeah, Christian, that's for sure. This is going to be a very sharp gradient of where that heavy snow falls, and with a mainly northwesterly wind, we're talking about right along the lakeshore and to the west and southwest of Grand Rapids. You're down into parts of Allegan County, Ottawa County. I think you're going to see a fair amount of snow. There may be as much as a foot of snow by the time this thing ends on Thursday. Let's take a look again at the winter weather advisories. These run until 10 a.m. on Thursday, so it's a long-term event, and we've got winter storm warnings for Allegan, Ottawa, down into Van Buren County, Oceana, Mason, and then winter weather advisories for Muskegon and Kalamazoo. And we're still going to see snow here in the Grand Rapids area, but as I mentioned, very sharp gradients. So the Grand Rapids area not under an advisory as of yet. Now here's a look at the radar, and you can almost pick up the wind direction from this radar. You see it's coming in from the northwest, actually north-northwest, and that means the heaviest snow typically will fall in that band to the west and southwest of Grand Rapids, and that's what's going on right now. You can see from just near Grand Haven down to near just east of Allegan and Holland, Saugatuck, you're right in that heaviest band. There's some heavier snow showers in Kentwood over toward Hastings. You get north of 96, at least for now, and there's not much going on. You travel a little bit further south, and Kalamazoo, light snow, Battle Creek, light snow over toward Paw Paw. You'll get into heavier snow later on tonight as the intensity of all this starts to pick up as we head toward overnight period. Now, winds, you can see that out of the northwest. That's going to be another ingredient. The snow is going to be dry. Winds right now running around 20-25 miles an hour, and that's going to be blowing and drifting that snow around for the morning commute tomorrow and basically all day. Temperatures have fallen into the mid-20s, 25 Grand Rapids, 25 at Coldwater. We're getting a little bit of a help from Lake Michigan. You can see on the other side of the lake, it's 17 at Chicago and 17 in Milwaukee. Combine those temps with the wind, we're talking about wind chills in low to mid-teens, so you don't want to slide off, and it's going to be a rough start for the kids tomorrow morning with those cold temperatures. Temps will be slowly falling. Lake effect snow showers heaviest west and southwest of Grand Rapids on Wednesday. Just some flurries on Thursday, but cold, and then some more snow comes in on Friday as another system comes in to West Michigan. We've got cold weather, we've got snow. Right on through the weekend, I'll show you the 7-day forecast. We'll show you a map of how much snow we expect coming up in just a few minutes.
A man was taken to the hospital in Grand Rapids this afternoon after being shot in the cheek while he was driving.
It happened around 3 today near College and Cherry. Fox 17's Brody Carter live at the scene with what we know so far about this. Brody.
Christian and Michelle, it's been a really busy afternoon for Grand Rapids police as they continue searching for the man responsible for that shooting. It actually took place around 3 o'clock this afternoon at the intersection of Cherry and College Avenue. We're told by police that that victim, who was shot in the face, taken to the hospital and is suffering non-life-threatening injuries. I just got off the phone with Sergeant Terry Dixon, who filled in some gaps for us this afternoon. He told us that the shooting actually began with an altercation that took place at a local apartment complex. That altercation turning into a shooting right here at the intersection again of Cherry and College Avenue. That suspect shooting one shot into the driver's side windshield of a car when the bullet entering the victim's cheek before pulling over on College Avenue. Police are unsure of how many people were in the car, saying that there is a possibility of multiple suspects on the run, and they are armed and dangerous. Neighbors nearby are shaken, hoping for the best outcome for the gunshot victim. Take a listen.
Our concern, of course, is for the victim. You know, you hear that someone apparently was shot, so it's a shock whenever you hear something like that. So we certainly hope that that person's going to be okay, and that they catch the perpetrator.
Yeah, thankfully nobody was killed. Police are still searching for the suspects after clearing the scene about a half hour ago. If you have any information, you're to call the Grand Rapids Police Department. For now, we are live in Grand Rapids. Brody Carter, Fox 17 News.
She endured months of grisly threats, but tonight a young woman in Van Buren County is hoping they've stopped for good.
Today, the man who confessed to making those threats has been sentenced. His victim has a warning now for other young women. Fox 17's Dana Chiklis is live outside the courthouse in South Haven with all the details on this. Dana.
Right, and it was just a 7-month relationship. It really turned into a nightmare for this young woman involved, and she was brave enough earlier this afternoon to speak about these threats directly to the judge. Just after that, that's when 23-year-old Chad Eric, who's from Berrien County, he was sentenced. He got 18 months probation, but part of that was a stipulation he could no longer use social media during those 18 months. So it started back in mid-December when we first spoke to the young lady's father. Chad Eric, he pled guilty to a misdemeanor for malicious use of a telecommunication service. And the father here, Willie Neeren, he says he's now gone through 400 pages of just nasty death threats to his daughter as well as other women who've come out of the woodworks. And most are just too ugly to share with you now, but Eric did confess to making statements like if his girlfriend were pregnant, he would cut out her unborn baby, saying that he was with ISIS. The dad made the Facebook page called Chad Eric, What Has He Done to You? And that's where other victims have posted messages and pictures accusing Eric of also threatening them. Earlier in court today, the judge sentenced Eric to 18 months probation, like I said, with conditions like continued counseling, no contact, of course, with the victim, that's Frankie Neeren, and again, no social media use. And Frankie has a warning tonight for other women, and Eric, who we caught up with for the first time, says these threats came from a dark place and he apologized. Take a listen.
To listen to other people. They know that what some people are and what they do, that you definitely should listen, no matter how much you love them. They know. Your family loves you more, and that's why they're trying to help you, so listen to your family.
I am sincerely, sorry, to the family for what I did, but I'm not violent. I have no violent tendencies. Just a dark place, in my life, and I took it out on the wrong people when I should have been getting help.
And we were also speaking with Frankie's father today, who's carrying stacks of these papers, of these threats he's printed out, and he said, he's monitoring Chad Eric's social media. He wants to warn people that he's seen him use aliases. He says Chad Eric, E-R-I-K is one of them, Chad Pollins is another. And by looking at the accounts he knows Chad to be using, he says within the last 10 days he saw more than 160 friends for Chad on his Facebook account come from new young ladies. So something to keep mindful of, and also, of course, if you're experiencing any threats like this, be sure to report them to your local police department. For now, we're live in South Haven. Dana Chiklis, Fox 17 News.
Police in Battle Creek have found a car they believe is connected to an attempted murder over the weekend, but they're still searching for the suspect in this. Police say Bruce Morales forced his way into a home on Dahlia Drive, stabbing a man inside, and then took off in a white Dodge. Officers tracked down that car last night, but he wasn't inside. They did arrest the driver, finding cocaine, marijuana, and money in that car. They haven't released that suspect's name. If you know where Morales is, you can call the Battle Creek Police or Silent Observer.
A stabbing suspect in Grand Rapids is in custody after a lengthy search last night. He's accused of stabbing 47-year-old Isaac Ramos outside of Yesteryear's bar early Sunday morning. Last night, police got a tip the suspect was at a home on Sheridan Avenue. Officers in a tactical unit surrounded the home for hours trying to get him to come out. They eventually tracked him down about half a block away. His name hasn't been released yet. Police are looking for a group of men who reportedly harassed a woman while she was jogging. This happened about 11 last night on Central Avenue in Holland. We're told a white car pulled up next to the 21-year-old, and the men inside started making comments to her and telling her to stop running. When she didn't, one of the passengers got out and chased her. We're told she ran to a nearby home and the suspects took off. If you know anything, call Silent Observer or Holland Police.
We're learning more about a man who's facing criminal sexual conduct charges after allegedly walking into a local elementary school. Jalen Harris turned himself in last week after police released released surveillance images of him at River City Scholars Charter Academy. And according to court documents, Harris walked into the school and approached a young girl, saying her mother had sent him to check on her pant size. He took her into a room and pulled her pants down, but the leggings she had on underneath were still there. Then he ran away, they say. Harris then tried something similar with a second student. He's now facing kidnapping and criminal sexual conduct charges.
A local nonprofit is looking for a piece of equipment that was stolen tonight right out of the owner's front yard.
The theft was caught on camera, and now the dog rescue is hoping the community can help them track down the culprit. Fox 17's Doug Reardon in the studio with details about this. Doug?
Yeah, Christian, Michelle, that group's Second Chances for Greyhounds has been working to find retired racing dogs good homes for more than 20 years now here in Michigan. And that trailer was a big part of what they do. Brad Kuchmak tells us that the group mostly used it to haul equipment, but they also brought it to promote their cause to certain events that they would go to. He says it was stolen right out of his yard just after 5:30 Monday morning, and he knows the time because security cameras captured the entire theft. Here's some video of that. You see a white truck pulling up, attached that trailer right to the back of it, and then drives off. Shortly after posting that video to the group's Facebook page, Brad got a tip. Somebody sent him a picture of what appeared to be their trailer next to that white truck. There it is right there. He contacted police, but by the time they could respond, these suspected thieves, they had taken off. Now Brad is left baffled as to why somebody would steal a trailer that was used for such a good cause.
Just idiotic, I guess. You know, and I'm on a corner of the street, so you would think this is the last house you'd want to take from. You know, it's right out in the open, so.
Now, police say that they were told the two owners of that white truck, they had been talking about moving to Tennessee. So at this point, they say it's very possible, maybe even likely, that they took that trailer with them or sold it to make some money for the move. In the studio, Doug Reardon, Fox 17 News.
All right, Doug, thanks. We are getting a clearer idea now of what could come from the Attorney General's investigation into the Flint water crisis.
Could it lead to criminal charges? What the lead investigator has to say coming up.
Cases of the Zika virus continue to pop up across the country, and today they are hitting a little closer to home. What experts say about the recent cases in Ohio and Indiana coming up.
You're watching Fox 17 News.
Investigators looking into the state's handling of the Flint water crisis say they aren't ruling out severe charges.
Attorney General Bill Schuette and his investigators gave an update today saying even involuntary manslaughter is on the table. First, though, they have to figure out if a crime has even been committed. Fox 17's Darren Cunningham is live in Lansing now with the latest for us. Darren.
Good afternoon. While a lot of focus has been on the decisions made in Flint with regards to Flint water supply over the past couple of years, today investigators assigned to the case by the Attorney General say they may go back much farther than that. We're talking about a decade.
So let's just simply say this: no one can get away from a crime.
That was co-lead investigator Todd Flood's response to a question about whether Governor Snyder's office could hide behind executive immunity, as it finds itself at the center of the Flint contaminated water investigation. Flood said immunity didn't protect President Nixon, and it won't work here.
We're here to investigate what possible crimes there are, from anything to the involuntary manslaughter or death that may have happened to some young person or older person because of this poisoning, to misconduct in office. We take this very seriously.
Flood, a former Wayne County assistant prosecutor, along with Andrew Arena, a former FBI chief out of Detroit, and a retired state police detective, Ellis Stafford, also a Flint native, are heading up the investigation, which they say has already started, but they would not give specifics of what's been examined so far. Arena did say they could go back as far as 2006.
There's key points, key pressure points in that timeline that we have to identify which are the key points. When were the bad decisions made? As Tom said, there's a lot of stuff that went on here. We could spend the next 10 years looking at that. We don't have that.
And another component to all this, the Flint issue cannot escape the shadow of partisan politics. The Michigan Democratic Party released a statement saying the Republican AG's investigation had ethical problems before it even started. Quote, how can the investigation be independent when Todd Flood has given tens of thousands of dollars to Schuette, Governor Snyder, and other Republicans and had to consult with an ethics attorney before even taking the job? The people of Flint deserve justice, but this team, assembled by Bill Schuette, is too contaminated by conflicts of interest to get the job done, end quote. Now, to be clear, the involuntary manslaughter charges are in regards to the several deaths resulting from Legionnaire's disease in the Flint area over the past couple of years. Also today, when asked, Schuette said the pay range for the entire team will range from $20 an hour up to $400 an hour, but he says he's more focused on a thorough investigation being done and not setting a spending limit. Live in Lansing this evening, outside the state capitol, Darren Cunningham, Fox 17 News.
Well, over the next couple of days, everybody's going to get the cold weather. In fact, that's going to continue right on into the weekend, but there is going to be a sharp cutoff in terms of who gets quite a bit of snow and very little. With a northwesterly wind, it's going to make a big difference where you are watching us from. As you can see from this shot in Grand Rapids, just some flurry activity out there right now. And we may end up with an inch or two of snow by the time this thing is over on Thursday here in the Grand Rapids area. Maybe some spots could see as much as 3, but you get closer to the lake, especially west and southwest of Grand Rapids, and you could see over a foot. So again, it's going to make a huge difference. Cold air, though, is for everybody. We're at 17 in Chicago, 17 in Green Bay. We're getting a little bit of a help at Grand Rapids off Lake Michigan. Of course, it is mainly ice-free, 25 degrees right now. There's a lot of cold air back here. Duluth 8, International Falls 5 above. So we're in for cold air not only for the rest of the week, but it looks like for most of the weekend before it finally starts to move out. Here's the upper level flow, and Friday 4 o'clock, you can kind of see this purple and blue sitting right over the top of us. So the center of the cold air right over the Great Lakes. And then as we go through Saturday, it actually gets reinforced, even colder weather. But by next Monday, late Sunday and Monday, we'll start to see it finally retreating off to the north and east. But until then, we're going to see some very cold air. And depending upon how much we clear out at night, we could see some temperatures at or below 0. Again, it depends on that cloud cover. Here's a look at the live radar. It's snowing over a good portion of the eastern half of the country. You can see down toward Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Cleveland. If you're traveling south, traveling east over the next couple of days, there's going to be lake effect going on, so be aware of that. And not just around Lake Michigan, but Lake Erie, also Lake Ontario, Lake Superior. Here's this northwesterly flow, and you can certainly pick up the northwesterly band. It's been snowing fairly heavily in the Holland area with visibilities below a half a mile, and that's just going to continue. Now, you go off to the east of that, notice Greenville, Ionia, Mount Pleasant, St. John's, nothing going on right now. Not to say you won't see any snow, but it's really going to be concentrated along the west. Kalamazoo seeing some light snow. You'll pick up some heavier snow later on. Lighter amounts toward Battle Creek and Three Rivers, and also off to the south and west toward Paw Paw. Here's future track. Notice by 9:15, it's really kind of concentrating this along and west of 131 from Grand Rapids southward. Does the same thing as we head toward around 1 o'clock in the morning. Really heavy down toward Benton Harbor area. And then tomorrow morning for drive time, again, northwesterly bands. If you get underneath one of those, it'll put down some pretty heavy snow for a short amount of time, and that just continues into the afternoon. So it's going to be a long duration event. Snowfall totals. There'll be some areas right along and west of 131. You get into parts of Allegan County, Ottawa County, especially west. We're talking 6 to 10 inches. East of that, about 3 to 6, and then Grand Rapids off to the east, 1 to 3 at the most, so it's going to be a sharp gradient. Forecast for tomorrow, 21 degrees, snow is likely, falling temperatures into the teens in the afternoon. Thursday, just some flurries, 22. Friday, 23 as snow develops. The rest of your 7-day forecast, it's cold, 15 for a high on Saturday, 2 above for Sunday morning. Dry things out, and then we get back around 30 for Monday and Tuesday. Christian?
Here's what we're working on for Fox 17 News at 6:30.
That's a live look out at the pier in Grand Haven as we keep an eye on this nasty winter weather along the lakeshore. We'll have an update on the conditions.
You cannot imagine the different stages and the hell.
A local couple still fighting the battle against Alzheimer's. We'll tell you about the outpouring of support for them since their story was shared online. The The race for the White House revolving around New Hampshire tonight. Voters there are casting their ballots in the nation's first official primary.
A record-breaking turnout is expected, and that could mean anybody could win. Scott McLean has more from Manchester.
After months of non-stop campaigning and wall-to-wall ads, Granite Staters are finally heading to the polls and in big numbers. Officials say turnout for this year's primary could break a record in a state where Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump continue to hold on to commanding leads, both men urging their supporters to show up.
But the polls don't mean anything if we don't get up, don't get out, don't vote.
It is imperative that you and your friends do get involved in the political process.
Polling far behind Bernie Sanders and setting the expectations low, Hillary Clinton is aiming for a better-than-expected finish, one that might silence critics who suggested she skip New Hampshire altogether.
I'm going to keep showing folks that they can count on me and that we're going to make real progress together.
For the Republicans, it could be a battle for second place. Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, John Kasich, and Jeb Bush are all within striking distance. Kasich hoping an early win in the well-known midnight poll in small-town Dixville Notch is a sign of things to come when the rest of the polls close.
You know, the good news is we've run a positive campaign. We feel the momentum, and we'll see what happens, and we'll live with the results.
Meanwhile, there may be a new face in the race for the White House. Former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg telling the Financial Times he's looking at all the options. His friend Donald Trump has said he would welcome the competition.
Scott McLean, Fox 17 News.
Polls close at 7 o'clock. We'll have results as they start to come in on fox17online.com and on air tonight, starting at 10.
Winter weather hitting West Michigan tonight, but not all of us are going to see the snow.
That's a live look of Grand Rapids, where the flakes are barely falling, but take a look at the wind whipping around in South Haven. She'll have an update on conditions across the area coming up.
Sports have been proven to keep kids healthy and improve their academic performance, but for many local students, it's just too expensive. We'll tell you about a program in one district looking to change that.
You're watching Fox 17 News on air and streaming until 7 p.m.
We've been telling you about it all night. Some heavy snow and strong winds along the lakeshore, making for a messy commute out there.
Yeah, there are winter storm warnings and advisories out there, but some of us may not see much snow at all. Joe has a current look now at the conditions.
Yeah, Michelle, we've been talking about this. This is a winter weather a warning for some areas. Some areas under an advisory. Some areas will see very little snow. Let's take another look at the radar. The reason being we've got northwesterly flow, and that means the lakeshore counties, especially from Muskegon down toward Holland, South Haven, and then even inland toward Kalamazoo, really see the snow from this. But since the winds are going to stay primarily northwest, it's going to be those areas. You can see the bands already starting to set up here. From Wayland just to the west of Hastings, Allegan, Saugatuck, Holland. And with the winds not really changing much over the next 24 to 36 hours, that is going to be the area that sees the most significant snow. And there could be some spots that pick up as much as a foot of snow by the time this thing ends or winds down on Thursday. Now, you will get some snow down into the Kalamazoo area, not quite as much, but still you're going to see some significant snow from this. And that's why you are under a winter weather advisory versus the winter storm warning. You can see the colors in the pink, winter storm warnings, the colors in the purple, winter weather advisories. You can also see Kent County not in any type of advisory right now. Now, that does not mean we're not going to see any snow. Tomorrow morning's commute's going to be a bit rough, but we're just not going to see as much snow as the lakeshore areas. Snow ramps up this evening and overnight. The Wednesday morning and PM commute definitely going to be affected. Heaviest snow is going to be west and southwest of US 131. Some areas as much as 12 inches of snow, and this is a dry snow and it's cold, so we're going to see blowing and drifting snow, and we're going to see some single-digit wind chills, so be aware of that. This is not a situation where you want to slide off and have to walk around or wait for a tow truck in this type of deal, but we'll have more coming up on that in just a few minutes. Michelle.
All right, thanks, Joe. Fox 17's Dana Chiklis is live tonight in South Haven. So, Dana, how are things looking out there? We can hear the wind blowing.
Yeah, Talon.
Yeah, I think the wind likes to show off for you guys, because I swear, the the last couple of minutes, it really just picked up, and we positioned ourselves right at it. So it's definitely more windy than it is snowy. It's coming right at us at the northwest direction. Just picked up. Last look is about 14 miles per hour. You can see behind me, you can see the gusts going into the streetlights over there, but not a lot of snow. You know, we're in the parking lot of the courthouse about a mile from the lakeshore here in South Haven, so you know, not really picking up, but I'll walk over to some fresh piles, show you what it's like. You know, you heard Joe tell you guys it's dry, so really not the snowball material, but just that pretty kind of powdery snow, and about 25 degrees, so not really making snowmen. Could jump in, make a couple snow angels, but that's about it. Maybe it'll pick up a little bit later, but getting a little chilly. Nice to be warm in the studio, I'm sure.
Come on back. Thanks, Dana. Well, you can always get the latest on the forecasts and on our website, the Fox 17 weather app. It is free in the iTunes and Google Play stores.
New cases of the Zika virus have been found in 2 states bordering Michigan. Both Indiana and Ohio now reporting their first cases of the mosquito-borne virus. Both people had recently traveled to Haiti. Now, cases have been reported in more than a dozen states, but still none reported here in Michigan. That virus is found primarily in Mexico, Central and South America. And the biggest concern is for women who are pregnant or trying to conceive, because Zika has been linked to serious birth defects. Otherwise, symptoms are fairly tough to spot.
But most people who have these virus symptoms, it's not causing death. It's not causing hospitalization or severe problems. Their joints ache, they get a little bit of a rash, sometimes a little bit of pink eye, and some fevers. And they usually go away in 5 to 7 days like every other virus.
With those birth defects, it is serious, though. Health officials warning pregnant women not to travel outside of the U.S.
A new program in Grand Rapids is looking to give more local kids the chance to get involved with sports. It's called Great Sports, Great Kids, and it's meant to cover the cost of sports for K through 8 students. The program also has a special committee focused on getting girls involved in different athletic activities. Organizers say it can help students not only stay active and healthy, but sports are also proven to improve performance in the classroom.
Girls that participate in sports, there's great outcomes for them. They do better in school, they get better grades. Teenage pregnancy numbers go way, way down. And if you talk to a lot of female leaders and successful women, you know, in the community, more than likely they participated in sports in high school.
And you can learn more about the program and how you can help out by going to the website right there on your screen.
People in West Michigan continue to rally around a local man battling Alzheimer's and his wife, who's continually by his side.
Yeah, just refusing to leave his side, and it is just heartbreaking to hear. We first told you about Mary Beth and Alan Beamer last month after they posted this video on Facebook, hoping to show people some of their day-to-day struggles with the disease. They tell us the response to that video has been overwhelming, with thousands of dollars raised through their GoFundMe page, hundreds of comments and messages showing support, and even a high school basketball game in their honor, raising money for Alzheimer's research. We checked in with the Beamers again last night as Mary Beth continues to be both wife and caretaker. A couple always trying to look for the positive, despite a disease they know will eventually tear them apart.
We still just are going to do the best we can.
Yipper.
Until he doesn't know me anymore. That's the way it's going to be.
I kind of look for God right now after what I've done. And I wonder where the hell he is.
Tonight at 10, we're going to hear from doctors talking about the strain the disease can put on families. In the meantime, if you want to help out, you can find a link to the Beamers GoFundMe page on our website, fox17online.com. Well, if you haven't started planning for Valentine's Day yet, don't worry.
Just a few days away, but there are some new apps that can help you make it a special one for your loved one. We'll take a look in Tech Tuesday.
Plus, some major improvements may be ahead for a local theater. We're going to tell you about the plans for the Civic in Kalamazoo and how much money they still need.
And no goalie has been better in the NHL this calendar year than Peter Mrazek. We're going to take a look at the former Griffin goalie's greatness so far after the break.
You're watching Fox 17 News.
Tech Tuesday Tuesday here on Fox 17 News at 6. Joining me once again, Casey Cochran of Genius Phone Repair. You know, Valentine's Day is this weekend. And if you're a little behind on your planning, don't worry. There's some apps that can help, right?
Yeah, we got 3 apps to help the Valentine's Day weekend, right? So the first one is called No Wait. And so basically this is a free app that you can download if whether you're local here or you're going away to Chicago or something along those lines. And ultimately what this does is it gives a timeline of how long the wait is at current restaurants. And so you pull up that app and it tells you if it's a 30-minute wait, a 45-minute wait, an hour and a half, and whether or not you want to wait in that line or not. But it also allows you to put your name in, so you're not calling around, 20 different restaurants, seeing where you want to go, how long the wait is. This allows you to, scroll through, see, how long the wait time is, if there even is a wait time, and then also allows you to put your name in there if you'd like. And so, cool thing with this is that, obviously the restaurants have to participate within the app, and a lot more and more are catching on to this. But again, especially for your big cities, going to Chicago, what a great way
where you're not familiar with everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next one is called Avocado. This is an app for couples, and basically, I guess the easiest way to explain is it's kind of like Facebook, but just for you and your mate, basically. So what this allows you to do is basically keep a private kind of timeline of photos and pictures. And videos and different messages to each other and things of that sort. Allows you, as you can see on the screen, to give that person a kiss or a hug.
That's not corny at all.
No, not at all. And so, but I guess the one cool thing of it is it can track your entire relationship from a timeline, from the first kiss to your first date to your first Valentine's Day or to your anniversaries or your important dates and things of that sort. And so it's kind of a way for you to kind of have a personal Facebook with your soulmate, right? To get started. So the last one we have is called.
Let me know how that one works.
Yeah, no, we'll start it today. The last one we have is called Bloom That. And so this is for people like me that procrastinate with every gift that they've ever given. And what this does is it's a free app that allows you to get flowers delivered next day in anywhere in the U.S. And so basically you throw in your zip code and it allows you to basically pick through a bunch of different options and prices and price points for flowers, and it gets you
it's next day delivery.
Gets you next day delivery, pretty reasonably priced, and allows you to, like I said, kind of price shop instead of saying this is only what we offer. Uses a ton of different.
And it's
flower
worth
shops.
mentioning that's not just Valentine's Day. You could use it for other
anytime,
holidays.
all the time.
Anytime
but
you want to
obviously,
do flowers.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Casey. And if somebody has a phone they want repaired or a PC, you guys work on computers now?
Absolutely. At Genius Phone Repair, come check us out.
All right. Thanks again.
Thanks.
Are you going to get that? Are you going to get that avocado phone thing?
I don't think so. Like you
It's
said.
like a virtual hug.
Yeah, like you said, just grab it and throw it down. We've
We're not
regressed.
cynical.
No, we're going the wrong direction there.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be one of those situations where, kids are going to be thinking school, no school, and it really, really depends on where you're viewing us from. Because if you're along the lakeshore, Holland down toward, I'm not saying Holland's not going to have school, I'm just saying that general area, they get a good shot. If you're east of 131, kids, probably not going to happen. But it is going to be cold and windy, and there's going to be some blowing snow. So be aware of that everywhere. Here's a look from a River House Tower cam, and right now, as you can see, it's really not snowing much. There's probably some flurries going on out there. Traffic moving along pretty good, but this is really a almost pure lake effect situation. So it depends on where you're watching us from. Also, it's going to take a while for this thing to get going. It's not just going to occur tonight. It's really going to ramp up later on tonight. It's going to go through tomorrow and tomorrow night into Thursday morning. So by the time it's all said and done, some areas could see as much as a foot of snow. The heaviest is going to be west of US 131 and also southwest with that northwesterly wind. So you get down toward Holland, even into parts of Kalamazoo County, maybe a little bit of Berry County, you're going to get some pretty good snow. Arctic air all week long, even into the start of the weekend. I think it'll start to move out as we go into late Sunday and Monday, but it's going to be a very chilly week. 25 right now, Grand Rapids. We're getting help from Lake Michigan because on the other side of the lake, it's even colder. It's 17 at Green Bay. Get up to Duluth, it's 8 above. International Falls is 8 above, and the winds are picking up. So we're talking about wind chills as cold as 14 degrees below zero is what it feels like at International Falls. Feels like 13 here, 2 at Green Bay. So for the kids tomorrow morning and for the adults getting out, starting the car, it's going to be very chilly with that wind staying up all night long. And of course, temperatures are going to be dropping also. That Arctic air, as I mentioned, is just going to sit around right over the Great Lakes region as we go into Friday. Saturday, we're going to actually get a reinforcement of the Arctic air. We may
see temperatures in the mornings, if we clear out, below 0. Right now it's too early to tell, will we clear out that far in advance, but we've got a shot, especially with some fresh snow on the ground from this system. Here's the radar, and again, you can almost pick up with this northwesterly flow where those heavy bands of snow are, just kind of clipping southwestern lower or southwest Kent County into Allegan, Ottawa County. This heavy band right in here. It's been snowing very heavily at Holland, and then extends down into Allegan. You get north and east of that, and there's just not much going on. Starting to see a little bit more snow develop south of 96 into the Kalamazoo area, picking up a little bit heavier snow. Plainwell. This will eventually work its way off to the south and west. So you're going to see some pretty decent snows around Paw Paw, certainly in the South Haven area with that northwesterly flow. Snowfall totals, again, are going to vary. Here's future track. You can see at 9:30 tonight where that heaviest snow is, couple of bands, and it kind of lines up at 1:30 in the morning and just kind of sits there with these bands moving. But if you get underneath one of those bands, it'll put down a quick 1 to 2 inches in an hour or two for sure. And then here's 6:15 tomorrow. As you can see, it's still snowing. Now, snowfall totals, this is through Thursday morning. In the areas that we outline, as much as 6 to 10, maybe a couple of spots, 12 inches. And then watch how quickly or sharply it diminishes as you head to the east, 3 to 6, and then you get east of that, we're talking 1 to 3. Some areas probably are not going to get 3 if you get well east of that. Tomorrow, snow showers, falling temperatures from around 21. Thursday, a couple of flurries. Now, that's inland along the lakeshore. It's still going to be snowing. Snow develops on Friday afternoon, and then it stays cold as we head into the weekend. Look at the high on Saturday, 15. More lake effect snow. Sunday, Valentine's Day should be dry but cold. We'll start temps near 0, and then we see a slight warm up as we head into Monday and Tuesday with another chance of snow coming in on Monday.
So after last night, the Red Wings on this 5-game homestand, now 2-0. Peter Mrazek, we talked about this at 5, just tremendous, not just in these 2 games, but really since the calendar turned to 2016. Another sensational outing last night with a guy who, of course, was minding the net when the Griffins won the Calder Cup in 2013. Mrazek with his 3rd shutout of the calendar year last night, 23 saves and a 3-0 win against the Panthers. Always humble, though, and making a good point. Peter giving credit to the Wings' penalty kill for the game. Jeff Blashill agrees with him.
Penalty killer, they did a great job today, so that's that's one of the keys and one of the reasons I have the shutout today. And I had 5 shots maybe in first 25 minutes or 30 minutes, so you have to stay focused. But we did a great job front of the net.
I thought a penalty kill was great, and honestly, our specialty teams have taken hits here. I'm not saying that's wrong, but I thought it was a specialty teams win tonight. I thought our penalty kill was great, especially in the third. You got to kill the penalties, and we go and score power play goals. So I thought it was a great specialty teams win tonight.
Yeah, special teams were great, but Mrazek has really been something special since the calendar went to January 1, 2016. He's 9-2-1 in 12 starts this year with a save percentage over .950 and a 1.33 goals against average. You tack on those 3 shutouts, and his save percentage of .966 or better in 7 of those 12 starts. Now he's the league leader in goals against average, and he's tied for the lead in save percentage. Not too shabby for the kid. Bit of a surprise this morning from the Detroit Pistons. They've recalled point guard Spencer Dinwiddie from the Grand Rapids Drive less than a month after Spencer told us that he'd been told by GM Jeff Bauer that he was going to be in Grand Rapids for the rest of the season. Dinwiddie averaging more than 14.5 points and 6 assists in 13 games of the Drive this year. They are on the road at Canton tonight. We'll have highlights at 10 and 11. Michigan State going for a 5th straight win tonight in West Lafayette. The 8th-ranked Spartans taking on 18th-ranked Purdue at 7 on ESPN. Of course, MSU's been rolling thanks in large part to 3-point shooting, but with the Boilermakers countering tonight with one of the best front courts in the country, senior Matt Costello knows that even with his size, he and the bigs got some work to do.
I realize I'm smaller and I lose about 30 pounds to both of them, so I'm not going to win in a wrestling match. So I have to figure out different ways to beat them, and it helps having Gavin and Didi, who both have their strengths, that we can combat them. And it's going to be fun to watch if you like old school basketball.
Well, Michigan fans could use some good news after those losses to MSU and Indiana last week, so here you go. Karis LeVert practiced for a full hour on Monday, according to head coach John Beilein, which is the longest he's gone without stopping since that leg injury that's kept him out the last 10 games. And as LeVert makes progress, Beilein maintaining it is up to Karis when he comes back.
So I haven't talked with him. Everything was good today, but this is his call. This is not my call. This is his call, and we'll see what he feels like after today's practice.
And he was that guy that in those last 2 games last week, it was such a huge week for them, whether or not they were going to stay in the Big Ten race or fall off. They were missing that X factor, and that was Karis LeVert. So we'll see if he's back tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Spark something.
Yeah, we need it.
Thanks, Mitch. New campaign is hoping to bring in millions of dollars to renovate a local theater.
Coming up, we're going to tell you about the proposed improvements to the Civic and where that money would come from. More than 80 years old, and now a local theater is finally being brought into the 21st century.
Yeah, some major renovations are planned for the Civic Theater in Kalamazoo, and they come with a big price tag. Fox 17's Lauren Edwards has more now.
Since the Kalamazoo Civic Theater opened in the 1930s, millions and millions of people have walked through its doors to watch its various musicals and plays. But now, reps are saying it's time for an upgrade, and they're hoping the community will get involved to help them raise enough money to get there.
It's going to be great. We're going to get a new copper roof for the auditorium. We're going to upgrade our HVAC systems, get some new radiators in here. We're also going to be able to maybe bring this building, restore it to its former glory.
That right there is the goal, to bring one of Kalamazoo's most historic buildings back to its prominence, both inside and out. The Civic Theater is launching a $5 million campaign to get it done.
Hopefully they will see the carpet replaced and some of the furniture reupholstered. All of this furniture, I don't know if you probably can't see it in the shot, but it's original, and we've had it reupholstered 3 or 4 times over the course of the history of the Civic.
Planned upgrades include more wheelchair access and a true sign of the times, installing free Wi-Fi. So far, 165 donors have raised just under $4 million, and theater reps hope the public will pitch in for the rest.
There's so many people that appreciate the Kalamazoo Civic Theater, the arts in our community, that we haven't even talked to yet. So I think, we got to be, optimistically safe or whatever, but I'm very optimistic that we'll hit that and go beyond.
The fundraising will continue until the summer. That's when the renovations begin. And the theater is known as one of the top 5 community theaters in the country. But reps are saying they just want it to look like it. In Kalamazoo, Lauren Edwards, Fox 17 News.
So, Joe, you're keeping a close eye on things. A little different here than on the lakeshore.
It really makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Traveling tomorrow or even on into Thursday, it's going to make a big difference where you are, where you're traveling along the lakeshore, especially from maybe Holland, South Haven, and that general area, and then inland about 10, 15 miles. You could have whiteout conditions tomorrow, and you get away from the lake. There could actually be a little bit of sun tomorrow, but it's going to be snowing and windy in a good portion of West Michigan. 21, 22 on Thursday. Now that sunshine is inland. The lakeshore, it's still going to snow, and then it's just going to be downright cold. 8 and 2 for morning lows on Saturday and Sunday morning. So cold.
Chilly.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
We'll see you tonight at 10.